In a B2B context, you're probably familiar with statistics like 92% of consumers trust referrals from people they know. That people are 4 times more likely to buy when referred by a friend, or 43% of consumers are more likely to buy a new product when learning about it from friends on social media. Also, results the fact that the lifetime value of a referred customer is 25% higher than that of other customers. Customers referred by other customers have a 37% higher customer retention rate, or that customer acquisitions to referrals spend on average about 200% more than the average customer. Now, the question in my mind is how can we make this more of a reality in a B2B context? After all, we are still dealing with people. Perhaps someone who spent the last 8 years helping businesses to do just that can help. Hello, and welcome to the Predictable B2B Success podcast brought to you by Sproutword.com. You have a coach and our guest today is Matt Alderton. Matt, you are the owner and the founder of BX Networking, Alderton Enterprises, and the founder of Integrated Workforce Solutions, as well as a number of 6- and 7-figure startups. Now, you have a glowing list of accomplishments and awards that you've won here in Australia. But perhaps to bring this to focus, you've had an extensive career in retail management and leadership. Your passion, however, has always been in developing and leading people to achieve their best. To give people a bit of an idea as to some of the awards that you've won, you were named Business Person of the Year in 2015, New South Wales Business Leader in 2016, finalist in the Australian Business Entrepreneur. Alderton Enterprises was awarded the Australian Business of the Year in 2016 and 17, in the Australian Business Champion Awards, nominated as the Australian Business of the Decade in 2018, and more recently, BX Networking was a finalist in the Telstra Business Awards in 2018 and 19. I'm curious, Matt, given all that you've done, why start a networking community? And was there a particular incident that led you to the creation of what is now BX Networking?
Yeah. Hi, Vinay. Great to be on your show, by the way. And appreciate the opportunity to share what we're doing across the globe here as well. And I guess to answer your question, what made me decide to start another business, do what I'm doing with BX? I guess it comes down to a few things, but my passion has always been helping developing people to achieve their best in life. I've done that through my 200 team members working for me across various companies over the past sort of 15 odd years, 18 years. And I loved the development side of the business. I loved working with people. And through my own journey of being in business, through the ups and downs and the challenges that I've had, I've realized the success of ourselves and our business comes down to one thing only, and that's the people we surround ourselves. And I know that I probably would have avoided many a pitfall if I surrounded myself with different and better people in the area of business and experts that serve small business. If I'd spent some more time with people that were better suited to what I needed at the time, I probably would have avoided some of those challenges and had more success as well. And I know you listed off a whole bunch of accolades and done well, but I would have loved to have missed and avoided some of the challenges along the way as well. And you only get that by being great people. And that's where BX was born from. So before that, I was professional services. I had retail and hospitality, had a number of different businesses. Yeah. And I loved working with people through that. But I learned that what was really lacking in a business space was the support, help businesses grow and be successful. And you threw a whole bunch of statistics in the beginning there, which to me just underpins how important it is to have the right people around you, because that's why we refer to each other. We refer because we know and trust people. That's relationship based referrals. That there's no selling involved in a great referral because they're already trusting that the person giving them that quality referral is looking after their interest. And the same goes with business. If we can help support and grow businesses achieve their best, then that's certainly what we know that businesses need. They need support. They need resources. They need experts around them to help them be their best in business. And so that's where BX started. And really, when it came down to listening to people, so not only were we doing the education side of things, they wanted more time networking. They wanted more time around other business owners for support, accountability, for referrals and marketing opportunities as well. And our business BX went from being just about education to being around building a network of people, a community of people that started off in Sydney, stretched to Canberra, Brisbane, across Australia, New Zealand, the US, Canada, parts of Europe. It did that because people are attracted to being in business with people, not doing business with people, not doing business with businesses. And so the community factor is huge. And I probably never even envisaged that it would have taken off incredibly. But when you tap into that, realize that people want to do business with people, with other businesses. It created what is now BX and the incredible success that's had over the past sort of 8 years as well. Yeah. So it's interesting you led with the statistics because it just goes to show you how valuable it is, but it just underpins so importantly how important it is that we interact with people and do business with, not think business.
Glad you brought home the fact that the statistics really underpin the value of networking. But I've talked to a fair few folk in the business space, and not everyone necessarily gravitates to this idea of building a network for themselves and for others. So, was there a specific incident that triggered this journey?
It started like I did a lot of networking to build BX in the early days. So I was a bit of a networking junkie. I got my way around to many different networking organizations and wherever I could go, I did. And I built BX from an education perspective. So I put people into our programs and filled our events and things like that. But every time I filled an event and I ran an event, everybody said, we want to do more networking. We want more networking at our events.
Okay.
So I filtered networking into our events until really, instead of running several large events each year with networking opportunities, I ran thousands of small events every day for networking. And that seems to be the magic formula. People realize that unless you're in front of your ideal referral partners on a regular basis, you're not going to be top of mind with them when they're sitting in front of your ideal clients. And our best referrers are those people that we've got the relationship with.
Certainly. Now, just to expand on what BX networking really is, it's a bit more than networking as perhaps most of us know it. And for those of us who are introverts like myself, we probably cringe at the thought of going to a conference or a networking event and having to speak to a room full of strangers, maybe politely drinking coffee from our tiny hotel coffee cups with a smile plastered across our face, just waiting for the right moment to politely excuse ourselves because it's just not the place for us to be. You've taken a slightly different approach to this whole idea of networking. It's not the salesy, push yourself in front of other people approach. You are very much focused on the idea of referrals. Could you tell us a bit more of how you've incorporated that or came to incorporate that into this idea of what is now BX?
Yeah, absolutely. Most of us I'm probably projecting here a little bit, but most of us probably think of ourselves from an introvert perspective when it comes to networking because because I am an introvert myself, there's nothing more kind of stressful and overwhelming than the thought of going to an event where you don't know anybody and you're walking in and you're going, oh my goodness, who am I going to talk to? Am I going to get stuck talking to that sleazy person that's trying to sell to me? And so we've been burnt for a long time through bad networking experiences. And what I really wanted to do is when I created BX is to create a different vibe in network because I understood why people wanted to network. They realized that they needed to market their business differently. And going into potentially a recession right now where we're at and having gone through the global financial crisis and challenges like this, I know that during times like this, people want to double down and they want to do things like this because they recognize how valuable and cost effective this type of marketing for your businesses is. And this is a marketing exercise. Let's be realistic. Networking is a marketing activity. It's not a sales activity. And when you put that mindset on it, and you think about, oh, if it's a marketing activity, then I shouldn't be doing any selling at this type of activity. And that really just changed the way I approached how BX should work. If this is truly a marketing activity and not a sales activity, then no one should feel like they're being sold to at a networking event. And so how can we shape and sculpt our event to be all about helping you market your business? And then I thought about what are the best type of marketing activities we can do for our business. And I went through all the different types of marketing. I thought the best type of marketing really is, and high ROI version of marketing is referral marketing and building partnerships with other businesses that serve all the same types of clients that you serve. That business therefore doesn't compete with you either. You can work with them to refer your clients to them and they can refer their clients to you. They're great marketing activities for your business. And I thought that being the case, then we absolutely should be helping people build referral partnerships within a networking environment, not linked to the room. So not a person in the room that's helping as a referral partner, but building connections outside the room to create those referral partnerships. And then I thought about this as well. As we continue to evolve the product and what is BX today, I realized that therefore didn't need to stack the room with 1,000 people. All we needed to
Mm.
do was have a small group, an intimate group of people. Our numbers fluctuate between 10 and sort of 40. I think nice around the 20 mark. But because we're not a huge room, we don't need lots of people to create those opportunities. We only need the right people who have connections to those referral partners we're seeking to be introduced to. Then you actually are better off with a smaller number of people who can understand what you do, who can make a quality introduction to those people outside the room and create those referral relationships outside the room. And then the best thing about this that I love the most is that most of the time we join these networking environments or these networking communities, knowing that when we leave, we're going to lose those relationships. And then what happens is we resign from that membership and we leave and we lose the relationships at the same time.
You were talking about this idea of incorporating referrals into your networking events, keeping the events small but very focused around trying to provide the most impact around referrals. And I'd love to dive and explore that in a little bit. I'm also curious, given your journey to date and the variety of things you've been involved, what would you say would be your personal area of strength?
I definitely feel that my passion and my strength lies in the area of people and leadership. I've always loved developing myself in the area of leadership. I've loved developing others in the area of leadership as well. I'm part of a community with John Maxwell called the John Maxwell team. And I was a founding member of the John Maxwell team. John Maxwell is a leadership coach, speaker, guru in the US and has a huge following and community. He's written about 60 books and he's got a program that I took part in back in 2014. And he's an absolute phenomenon in the space of leadership. So I was very lucky to spend some time with John, getting coaching, mentoring, training around the areas of leadership. Look, I definitely reckon that's my jam. I love leading people. We've now got a leadership team in Australia and New Zealand, the US, of over 200 people who are part of the community and part of our leadership team to run all of our events. And I just love engaging and spending time and developing and supporting those people to create the best opportunities for themselves, their business, and their life outside of BX. And it's certainly a passion of mine.
Excellent. And in that area of strength, what would you say is something that businesses don't know but should?
I guess that people don't realize that, irrespective of whether they're in business that has no employees, or many forget that they're in an area of leadership. They are leaders in their business. They're leading their own lives in a lot of ways and their families. And I often think that business owners are leaders in the community as well. They're often visionary in the way they do things. But really, at the end of the day, 50% of businesses are going to fail in the first 12 months. 96% will fail in the first 10 years of business. And that comes down to self-leadership. It's about doing the right thing at the right time. It's about discipline, being involved in your business like you're your own boss, but actually working like you're working for a boss. And I think a lot of us go into business wanting to be free from the boss and to have that freedom and lifestyle, and forget that actually with that comes a lot of responsibility and accountability. And it might be to ourselves, but at the end of the day, that accountability and that discipline we have to ourselves is going to set us up for that success in the future. And that comes down to great leadership of yourself. And as you continue to grow, leadership of others, it's so paramount to your success in business.
Brilliant. So coming back to this idea of referral partners, ordinarily, when one thinks about referrals and particularly referral partners, you're almost thinking along the lines of who would be a great fit for your particular business leads that you want. And there's oftentimes a bit of legwork involved in trying to find the right people. How do you ensure that everyone benefits from this idea of referral partners, given that you're probably getting a variety of businesses coming into BX?
Yeah, it's a great question. And I think that what's important when looking for a referral partnership is thinking about, first of all, identifying a great one. And you can just do that by thinking about your favorite client. Everyone wants more clients just like their
Mhm.
favorite client. So if you imagine, where is that favorite client of yours spending their money now? What other businesses are they spending their money with to run their business or life or whatever it is they do? And if you can identify where they're spending their money, can be almost guaranteed that there's other people just like them spending their money with those businesses as well. And you'd like access to those. It's those businesses that they're all spending their money with that make great referral partners for you. Yeah, like the classic example of the mortgage broker and the real estate agent. They serve the same types of clients, the same people. They're working with the same people, but they don't compete with each other. In fact, they have complementary products and services. Now, it doesn't always have to be complementary products and services. It often is, that works nicely. But just thinking about where your clients are spending their money and tapping into those businesses, working with those businesses. But you've always got to do it with a mindset around serving and paying it forward. The more you do that, the more you focus on how can you help the other person, the more opportunities that are created for you off the back of that. It's karma it plays dramatically into the referral relationship. So if you're thinking about other people all the time, guaranteed they'll be trying to reciprocate for you as well. And that's really how the referral relationship works. Basically, when they're in front of your customers, when they're in front of their clients, they're prospecting on your behalf all the time. And when you're in front of your clients, you're prospecting on behalf of your referral partners all the time. That's how it should work. And you don't need a lot of new connections to create a really valuable opportunity through a referral relationship. And we recommend 5 to 10 great referral partners is a good number to have and an easy number for you to manage and to be able to refer to on a regular basis.
Hmm. That's interesting. Would you say that there's a bit of a mind shift that needs to occur from thinking about generating direct leads to one where you're now really thinking, if I could use the term channel sales, almost developing a channel sales program, as it were, as you think about developing referral partners, investing and ensuring that they have all that they need from you, as well as serving them in ways that you probably wouldn't necessarily do with a direct, but trying to source a direct lead.
Yeah, look, I guess it comes down to what's your objective. And there's, I guess, if you think of the marketing funnel for business, a funnel is just that. It's got a very big open end at the top, got a small pointy end at the bottom. The sales that you're not trying to get sales at the top of the funnel, you're trying to market at the top of the funnel, trying to get as many people to come into your funnel as possible who are interested somewhat in the products and services that you do. Then as they move further through the funnel, you're engaging, you're nurturing, you're communicating, educating those particular people in your funnel there as well. So that when you get down the bottom of your funnel, they haven't opted out, which is good if they have, because that narrows down the pool of people. You've really then got a bunch of people who are very interested. You've narrowed it down from the vast number at the top of the funnel, and now you can take them through that buying journey with you. The thing I love about the referral relationship is you don't have to worry about all that. You're actually getting people at the bottom of your funnel ready to buy from you. So you can take them straight into that buying journey. In fact, they're usually ready to buy at that particular time. So all those other marketing activities we do, which whether it's lead gen and through Facebook and social media and whether it's PR or anything like that, they're all top of funnel activities. The great thing about a referral relationship is that bypasses that whole top of funnel through engagement and education. It bypasses all that so that you've got warm, ready to go contacts who are ready to buy landing in your lap all the time. So that's why it's a real cost effective way because it's fast, it's efficient, it's relationship based. They're already prospected on your behalf and they're ready to buy from you. That's why I find that referral relationships are really strong and high ROI for business owners.
And that makes a lot of sense. So, what would you say would make for a good referral pattern, apart from thinking along the lines of what are complementary, non competing businesses?
Yeah. So I guess it's like a match. It's a relationship. So you've got to have a symbiotic relationship where you both want to help each other, both interested in each other, you get each other as well. Because the most important thing about a great referral partner is that they're thinking of you when they're in front of your ideal clients. Now, they're not going to be thinking of you if you don't catch up on a regular basis. And we encourage people to have a quick fortnightly conversation with their referral partner, touch base, see what they can do to help promote or support each other from fortnight to fortnight. That's a good frequency to be top of mind with them. So if you don't like them, pretty arduous if you're going to be getting on the phone with them every couple of weeks. But if you've got a relationship with them, hey, you're interested in them and they're interested in you, that's a good sign of a potential referral partnership. So as a rule of thumb, you got to get on with them. You've got to have some form of working relationship with them. And I figure if they've got some interest in you, then that's something that you can sort of put on with people as well. But hey, everyone isn't for everybody. And we're going to have people that we don't have a good connection with or a good synergy with. That's cool as well. So find someone you do and then work on that relationship and give it all you've got. And they'll be inclined to do the same thing if they see you doubling down. That'll create some amazing opportunities for you both.
Obviously, one of the things that would be attractive would be the fact that you've got a wealth of experience behind you and a lot of results to show that you're credible. But let's take someone who's perhaps a little bit earlier in their journey and looking to find referral partners. Would that still be something worth exploring? If so, what would be the prerequisites, if you will, to ensuring that they're able to get traction in their journey of finding decent
Yeah,
referral partners?
it's a really interesting question because referral relationships work for every business, but it works differently depending on the size of the business. We often find is we have people come on quite early in the piece. They're startups. They don't have a team of people. They have nobody to work with within the organization. So they start building these relationships to help them build their business. But sooner or later, whether it's year 2, 5 years, once they build to a certain size, it starts to affect their ability to be able to network a lot or regularly or build those referral relationships, or they have a different benefit that they get out of being in a network. Often it's about being in those communities with like-minded business owners. It gives a lot of reason to turn up to an event as well. So what we find is the framework's great for early entrepreneurs and startup. Gives you the framework, the systems, all the benefits of knowing and following a blueprint. And then you've got those that have been around for a while who can then use that blueprint, that framework, and train their team their sales team. And when you've got a proven process that works, you know that you can therefore hand that over to BDMs and sales managers to then implement that, and you grow your business that way. So I often describe our blueprint as a 6-figure referral marketing plan. It helps you individually build a 6-figure return on your time and investment into networking, but that's totally duplicatable. So if you have 5 to 10 great team members who want to work the system as well, you're going to generate a 7-figure return time and investment from networking. So it becomes very duplicatable across your team. And that's what we tend to find with our more established business owners in the network. They're not the ones turning up and building referral relationships. They're turning up to be part of the community. They've already built their business to a point where they can hand over the managing those referral relationships, people in their team, and grow their business that way. And then just maintaining those higher level relationships with strategic partners and people in the network by being part of the network. So it's an evolution. People, they can start and implement themselves all the way through to then implementing the team using that proven system as well. And that's the value of having something where we're not forcing you to turn up every week or fortnight. We're not measuring stats on each individual person because we don't want you to feel like you've got a job with BX. We want you to feel like you've got a community of people that are safe to come to, have breakfast with, or lunch or dinner, and enjoy your time, not feel like you're working for us at the same time.
And you've highlighted some great points there. Speaking of which, given all that's happening in the world with AI and how it's impacting all of us, including things like visibility in the online space, perhaps in the medium term, if not in the short term, would you say that networking is something, and building a personal brand is something that businesses should really be investing in actively, given what's happening in our world today?
Yeah. So more and more that human connection is the real currency of business, and it's only going to get stronger and stronger. I think we drifted away from it over the past probably 10 or 15 years as social media's increased. People thought, oh, I just build my business online. I don't need to do that whole face-to-face piece. I think we got this rude awakening through COVID because when it was completely taken away from us, we went, wow, actually, I really missed that. And I misunderstood the value of being part of those communities. So I think that AI is only going to do the same thing. We're going to be excited about it. And man, it's really just the past 12 months and even the past few months has just been just crazy in terms of all the new products and services and connections, APIs into these different sources of AI. It's just phenomenal. I'm spending the next 4 days at a conference on AI to learn more about it as well, which is going to be fantastic as part of the business blueprint community. But just, it's brave new world. It's going to be exciting and scary at the same time, but it's going to really still underpin the very value of being part of face to face community. We actually need to do that. We need to, maybe we might have AI completely generating every new lead for us in our business. We won't need to market ourselves anymore. We're still going to need that network. We still need to be around people because people at the end of the day are helping us be the best version of ourselves. AI is never going to do that. The people come along to be around people, know, like, and trust, to build those relationships, to grow those personal relationships so that we can hang around with people we share the same experiences with. That's why networking is way more than just building your business. It's building yourself at the same time.
With this idea of networking, given the given the fact that people have gotten used to doing things online via Zoom and other such platforms, I noticed that BX offers the opportunity to do some of these events online as well as in person. Do you find that there is a good mix between doing these events online as well as in person? Do most people perhaps try it out online first, maybe make a few connections and try to further those relationships in person at a local event?
Yeah, it's really interesting. We had an online event. It was a BX event online. We used to run it once a month pre-COVID, and it was member only. We didn't open up to outside the net. Ran that, and we'd probably have 30, 40 people on that. It was pretty good every month. It was good to see a mix of different business owners from across the network joining in and pitching and doing all sorts of stuff. It was great. Then COVID hit. We flipped from being everything face to face and one a month to 8 online a week. And what we found was that in the first sort of 6 to 8 weeks of that, we were having meetings with 70 people. It was ridiculous. Like, we were trying to cap them, and like, people were really enthusiastic because they were cut off from society and this was their connection to society. But as society reconnected, we were back face to face. Our numbers dropped significantly, and we obviously dropped our online events. We now have 2 a week. So we went from 1 a month to 8 a week, now to 2 a week. So a staple of our opportunity to connect with people. People love being able to connect globally, but they love being able to connect locally, face to face with people as well. And I guess COVID and the restrictions on those interactions has only amplified the desire for people to want to meet face to face, to be face to face with people. And there's a few different opportunities to network online over the past few years, and most of those don't exist anymore because people need people. They want to be face to face. They want that human connection, that human touch that we desperately missed out on during the last few years. It's a great way to connect globally. It's a great format for doing business, but it doesn't replace the human connection that we all desire at the end of the day, which is why I know that we'll be around in years to come. Our format may change. Many elements of how we do it may change. We'll still need that face to face connection because it's so powerful.
Right. And would you say that having a good origin story or brand story to explain the problem that you're trying to solve or your business is trying to solve is key to making those connections and creating that strong first impression to potential referral partners as well as others in your networking events?
Yeah, absolutely. I guess it circles back to what we've been talking about, and that's, we don't do business with businesses, we do business with people. And that brand story is the substance behind the brand. It's the relatable factor, the X factor, the Y factor that comes into why would we want to do business with you as a person. And that's the brand story. That's the credibility factor. That's the emotive factor that people are hooked into. You know, what does Simon Sinek say? People buy what you do, they buy why you do it. That's the why, is the brand story. It's what sits behind what it is that you're doing and creates that emotional connection for people to do business with people. And that's so crucial. And it doesn't always have to be experience. There must be thousands of coaches globally, even in Australia or whatever, who haven't decided to be a coach because they like the look of the course that was available. They decided to become a coach because they've gone through something and they want to help others avoid the same. And that's very much behind our purpose and vision for BX, to help business owners be successful because of what I've seen and what we've gone through and what others are going through to help them avoid that. It's the same time and time again. So it doesn't always have to be experience. It can be credibility. It can be through what's happened in life and business and what your expert positioning is and all that sort of stuff as well. There's many different areas that build into your brand story. You've got to have that why behind your business. Otherwise, people are not going to connect that emotive connection to actually want to buy from you in the first place.
And I'm trying in my head to correlate this idea of leadership and networking. And I guess there is an element of going beyond this need for leads to also looking at trying to discover the things that you don't know about.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was wondering what sort of things would motivate you in your networking journey. And perhaps one of those is trying to create perhaps a good advisory, which is probably not a conversation a lot of people have. So your thoughts around that, as well as perhaps other things that you've found particularly useful as you correlate the two.
In a holistic sense, that circling back a little bit to what I was saying before about having the right people in your life and making sure you're getting great advice from experts. Certainly know that people in my life that I've had in the past have either been responsible for my success or responsible for my failure. Each and every time I can link my personal success and failures and business success and failures to the people in my life. And that comes down to being around people that are going to lift you, not always to hold you to account. It's not always fun when you've got someone in your life who maybe is lifting you. That's not necessarily going to make you feel better, but it lifts you in your personal development. So it's important to have those people in your life. Our success is really tailored around people we spend the most amount of time with. And it doesn't just have to be an accountant and a lawyer, good partners in life, good people in our network. They all helped us lift our average up and be the best we can be. And if I'm going to link that back to leadership, then good personal leadership, making those calls about who you spend most of the time. Yeah, sometimes you shouldn't spend time with people that are going to affect your excuse me, affect your mood, your behavior, the way you talk around those people. Call them energy suckers. So they drag you down. They don't make you feel good about yourself. They don't make others feel good about themselves. If we spend time with people that are lifters, then we ourselves will be a lifter at the same time and more of a lifter. And it's really important to make sure that we're critically assessing relationships that we've got in our life, especially around us in our business. You know, the Jim Collins saying about having the right people on the bus with you, and not just about having them in the bus, but making sure they're in the right seats as well. Also part of great leadership to be successful in business and life is having those right people on the bus with you in the right seats, doing what they should be doing and supporting you in the way they should be supporting you. That will all help create great success in both business and life.
And as you were talking, I noticed you referred to the blueprint, and obviously in your thinking, you've got a framework which allows you to act as a bit of a filter, as well, to ensure you have the right people on the bus. Could you elaborate on that and walk us through what to be essential or critical to achieving success as we look to network and build a network both locally as well as internationally?
Yeah, absolutely. It's discipline more than anything, to be honest. Having blueprints is great. Having frameworks to follow is really important, but they're no good to you if you don't have the discipline to implement and the discipline to follow it. Having done a lot of coaching over the years, spending time with business owners, I would say that number one downfall of those business owners, and not those business owners, but business owners in general, because I've coached have generally been pretty good. Some have had some pretty big challenges that they've worked through as well. But to get through those challenges, or even just to get through the day-to-day in business, it comes down to being disciplined with our daily actions. Because if you're not disciplined, then you're going to have issues in terms of just, you're not going to be able to get through your email in a day, or you might not be able to land a big client, or you're not going to be able to do the steps to get the proposal out. There's so many things that need and take our attention each and every day. If we don't have a discipline to focus on the right stuff at the right time, we're not going to be successful. And we're very good, I think, as business owners of being distracted by the shiny objects and not focused on the stuff that's going to get the results. and so easy. And I just start my day as a discipline, always setting 3 key priorities today that I need to work through. What are 3 things today that I need to nail today? It's going to be beneficial to my business. If I do that, I can be disciplined to get that stuff done. And my team know that I go on about it ad nauseum with them as well, because they're like, "Oh, I've got my list of stuff still." I'm like, "No, what are the top 3 things today that you need to do to take the business forward today?" Because otherwise, it's easy to get lost in the noise because there's so much going on. So if business owners just focused in on those elements, they would certainly see a lot more success and momentum to achieve success than if they just go from day to day doing what they think they need to do, as opposed to what they need to do. Those eat the frog, as Brian Tracy says, tackle those big tasks early in the day, the things that are going to make a difference. The things that might be a bit ugly, they're the things you need to get done first, so that you don't procrastinate through the rest of the day doing ridiculous things that aren't taking you towards your big goals. But the good thing is you surround yourself with great people. You're in a network or an environment or a community of people to support you doing that. You're going to benefit by osmosis at the same time. People, when you're hanging around with good, successful people and clever people, experts in their space, that's going to rub off. So you're going to be able to tap into the expertise of those around you at the same time. So it's always good to have that community of people supporting you to be successful at the same time.
Brilliant. With this idea of networking, you've talked about the fact that you need to have the right people around you, the right partners. Obviously, to build relationships and build them at a deeper level where you're actively investing, thinking about them, requires spending time with them and building experiences together. Given that we're all busy folk and managing a growing list of contacts and things can be quite a challenge, what would you recommend, apart from discipline, of course, is required to invest the relationships that you find are key in order to get the best, both them as well as yourselves?
Yeah, the most important thing you can give anybody, I think, is time. I think that I remember I was at a course once, and they were talking about time, and they said when your kids say to you, "Dad, can you do this?" and you go, "Oh, I don't have time." You can all reflect on saying that, right? And they said what that means, what you're actually saying to your child is, "I don't prioritize you." And so time is, we've all got the same amount of time in a day, but it's all about prioritization around that time. And it's a different view of time. That gave me a different view of time. And when my kids say to it, and sometimes, yes, you have to prioritize your time around kids and say, "Don't have time for that right now. This is my priority. And we will do that at this particular time." And it's having that light shone on that. It's harder to say that these days than when I didn't have it. But then I realized that the most important thing we can give people is our time and our priority, and prioritizing people into our life is so important. I know that whether it's your team or your friends or your family or people that you work with, by giving them your time, it actually adds so much more value back into your life that's actually immeasurable. And when you give something so freely to others, and I always say you should make it free as well. People often put, if you charge for your time for clients, it's a different thing. But when you're giving your time to people, don't make them feel like it's at a cost to them for that as well. And what you'll find is it's actually measurable in terms of the value that comes back in. It comes back in tenfold in so many other ways, benefits. And that's why I find the community, and this is not a BX thing, I think this is just any community that you're part of. But what I love about our community is that our people give us their time so freely. They give time to each other. Somebody might need help with social media, so they go to a social media person in the network and say, "Hey, I've got some questions. Help me." And it's like, "Sure, absolutely." That, to me, that's just so amazing, because they're giving of themselves, not going, "Yeah, I charge a consultancy fee." They're just like, "Yeah, how can I help you?" Because what goes around comes around. By giving of that time, so really, it comes back tenfold in so many other ways.
Is there something to be said about setting expectations about the process going forward with a potential referral partner?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, most of the time, it comes down to leading the relationship with the referral partner. If the referral partner is not someone within the, they won't know what the framework is. They won't know what the value proposition is. So it's about leading that conversation. And I would normally say, by an expectation of, "Hey, we should catch up for up to 10 minutes every couple of weeks would be a great way to keep top of mind, support each other, help each other, create a framework around that so people have a clear expectation of what you're expecting out of the relationship. But I often say to our members, if you're talking to somebody about a referral relationship or you're having that first introductory conversation from someone you've been introduced to, you don't need to start talking about future and further calls on your first call. You have a conversation, get to know the person, find out more about them, ask great questions. Hopefully they ask some back. If you feel there's a synergy, say, I'd love to get to catch up again in a couple of weeks for a quick 10-minute phone call to see if we've thought about of anyone in the meantime, some connections, some opportunities. And meanwhile, I'll think of some ways I can maybe connect you up with my community as well. Like having that conversation, it's low expectation, but you're building your relationship. Some will take off, some will plateau, and some might drop off. And that all happens over different periods of time. But if we're balancing those relationships and building those relationships at the same time, we'll find there's huge value. And at the end of the day, it is just a bunch of people, other business owners that are all interested in helping. They want to grow their business. And if they can help you at the same time, they're interested in doing that. Low cost, low time commitment, but high return. That's why it works so well.
If someone were to come into the BX networking program, is there a particular structure that you follow? So what does it look like? What should they expect?
Yeah, if you're going to come along to a BX event, there's 4 key components to one of our breakfast, lunches, or dinners. It's some open networking at the beginning. So no awkward standing around for us introverts. We take you in, we show you, go through the framework of the meeting so you understand these kind of 4 key components. We then will find a couple of people or a few people in the team or whatever to introduce you to as well, and then to introduce you to some members. And that's just for the first 15 minutes while we do food orders and get your coffee and stuff like that and find a place for you to sit. Kicks off pretty efficiently then at 1:15, and we run straight into opening statements and stuff like that to welcome everybody to the meeting. And then we kick off an introduction round so everybody gets the opportunity to introduce themselves and their business, as well as ask for potential referral partner opportunities. Off the back of that, we then have a member present for 10, 15 minutes on their area of expertise, more educational. It's not salesy or anything like that. It's, hey, business coach, so I want to train you on the top 4 things to be successful in business, or I'm a mortgage broker and I want to show you the top 7 things that will help you if you're buying a home. Something like that. It's educational. It helps give you a better insight into what they do and their area of expertise, but not feel like they're selling to you for that 10 or 15 minutes. And then the last sort of 30 odd minutes of our meeting, every member then catches up for 10 minutes, 3 10-minute one-on-one catch up. So they get to pick 3 other people to have a 10-minute sit down with and just find out more about them. It's a little bit like a referral partner conversation, but they might not be specific referral partners. They might just want to get to know each other a little bit better. And they do that with 3 other members or guests at each and every meeting. And probably one of the favorite parts most people say about our event is the ability just to be able to fast track that process, not have to do that outside the meeting. It can happen at the meeting. We do jam pack a lot into our BX events as well, so that there's heaps of opportunities to get to know people without, as you say, the awkward standing around that the introverts don't like. Yeah.
So to bring this to a close, Matt, are there perhaps a couple of aspects to this whole idea of developing referral partners and networking that you find doesn't get talked about much? If so, what would they be?
I guess if I was to think about what are the aspects of referral partnerships that don't get talked about, is that I think that most people understand that referrals are one of the strongest sources of business. You mentioned all the statistics at the beginning. There is just no question that when you ask somebody, you say, where do you get most of your business from? They go referrals. And then I'll say, oh, fantastic. If referrals are the strongest source of business, what's your plan for getting more referrals? And they go, oh, I don't need a plan. They just happen. I'm like, yeah, but do you do social media? They're like, yeah. Do you do this? Do you do that? And they said, yeah. Why do you do that? If referrals are the strongest source of business, why don't you have a plan to get more referrals? They're like, I don't know. I said, if you get someone off Facebook inquire or you get a referral, what's the easiest person to convert? They're like, oh, referral, they're all ready to buy. I'm like, okay, so wouldn't it make sense to have some structured plan to get more referrals, something you could dial up to get more referrals? And only if that existed, that'd be great. It does exist. You've just got to find that opportunity. And so you might be like doing organic Facebook and then all of a sudden paying for ads and going, oh, wow, I get more leads. Of course you do. You're now paying for that opportunity to get more leads. The benefit of a referral relationship, it is a really cost effective, high ROI way to build your referral base, to get more direct referrals. And so you've got to have a blueprint, you've got to have a framework around that. So you can dial it up or dial it down according to how much new business you want. And that's the framework that I was so committed to providing our clients, our members, and our community so that they could dial up or dial down the experience. That's why at our BX events, members can come to one location every 2 weeks, or they could be going to 3, 4, 5 a week if
Wow.
they wanted to. They can tap in as much as they like. That's the dial up, dial down. Really is up to you how much you want to put in the BX. We're not going to dictate how much you should be doing or what you shouldn't be doing. We're just going to say, hey, tap in as much as you want or as little as you like. It's really up to you. And it's like a tap that you can turn up or down according to what you need right now in your business. And that's probably where most networking, I think almost every single type of network differs from BX, because we say everyone's welcome in most networks. There's only one per category. And we say you can come as often as you like or as little as you like. No, you need to turn up every single meeting. Well, like you can go to different locations around your local area or globally. No, you can only go to your local group because it's closed seats, so you can't market yourself in other particular groups. So that's why we're so different to so much on it. Because we basically went, hey, we're not your boss. We want to help you do as much or as little as you want, depending on where you're at right now in business. We're going to support you to do that. And that value proposition, I think, is recognized by us and our guests that come along and go. That's why we have such a high conversion of people who become members of BX turning up, because they get that they went into business so they could be their own boss, not so they could have another boss. And that is why we have this opportunity BX, because people, oh, this is great. This is actually what I've been looking for. So yeah, I think that's a huge factor.
Excellent. To wrap things up, if you were listening to this episode, what would you say would be your top takeaway?
My top takeaway would be people, the lifeblood of any business. So whether it's your team, the people around you, your community, they're going to help you be successful or not in your business. So make sure you surround yourself with great people and make sure you're focusing on those great relationships for yourself and your business, because those are the make or break of an organization. Our best relationships are going to help us be successful, and our worst ones are going to take us down. So make sure you find some great ones to support you in your business.
And if people wanted to find out more or connect with you, where would you recommend they head to?
Absolutely. You can shoot me an email if you want to email me directly, matt@bxnetworking.com, or you can jump onto our website and find out more about BX there, which is bxnetworking.com. And for you guys who are listening today as well, we'll share a link in the show notes today, which means you can book in and enjoy a BX, and I'll shout you the opportunity to come along to one of our events wherever you're based. And I'll shout you brekkie lunch or dinner to come along as one of our listeners along here today as well for Vinay.
Perfect. We'll include links to that in the show notes. Thank you so much for doing this. This has been fascinating.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you for having me here today.